3 months ago, the question was, is Nikola the next Tesla? Fast forward to today, the question is Nikola a fraud? This week was really dominated by one giant EV drama, wasn't it? I mean, it was a short week. Monday was off because of Labor Day. And then when we started trading on Tuesday, Tesla accelerated the sell-off from last week following the non-inclusion in the S&P 500, which was wildly expected and priced in the stock price. Then Lucid Air, which is run by a former Tesla engineer and backed by the Saudi Public Investment Fund, came out with a new car. But really, it was all about Nikola, wasn't it? Nikola came out on Tuesday announcing this $2 billion deal with GM, promising really a tight partnership, GM taking an 11% stake in the company, and a big cooperation which sent the stock price 50% higher. And 2 days later, Hindenburg, which is a short-selling research company, came out with this really detailed report detailing, basically alleging that Nikola is a giant fraud, right? And the chairman, Trevor Milton, is kind of the guy at the center of it. And that really sent the stock price back to below the levels where we started on Tuesday before the announcement with GM. So look, the goal of this video is not really to go through the report, although I'm going to leave a link below the video. I think everybody that's interested in the EV market, and especially if you're an investor in Nikola, you should go in detail and read the whole report and kind of do your own research. But the idea of this video is really to kind of talk about what to do now, right? You and I, we have no idea whether all these claims in the Hindenburg report are true. Or whether Trevor Milton is right, and who do you kind of trust? I think the only people that really know the truth here is Trevor, probably his younger brother that is in charge of the hydrogen technology, some people around the company, maybe a couple of tight investors, but you and I have no idea what the truth is at this point. And so if you're long the stock, you haven't sold it on that news on Tuesday, the question is, what are you going to do, right? And I see this story with Tesla as well. So many people that bought Tesla above 400, 450, close to 500, hoping that we run to 600 and higher. Suddenly, you hear them talk about, well, I'm in it for the long run. I'm going to stick with Tesla for 5 years. And that's all fine, but that's not a trading strategy, right? That's an investment because you believe in somebody's story. But when somebody comes out with a report alleging really serious fraud like this, I take this very seriously as an investor. And if I'm invested, then you're basically gambling on who do you trust, right? And how long are you going to keep that falling knife? How long are you going to hold that investment as the price keeps getting lower and lower? I guess for anybody that's really excited about the EV industry, I know that I am. It's kind of hard to read a report like this, right? Because we want to believe that Tesla and Nikola and all the other companies are changing the world. And allegations of a fraud on this scale are just super hard to believe, aren't they? But when you look back at the last few years, you look at Theranos and Elizabeth Holmes, same thing, fake demonstrations of products that really didn't work. You look at Valeant Pharma, which was a giant short, right? It's documented in the Netflix episode Dirty Money, which was called the drug short. You look at 1MDB scandal and Goldman Sachs that played a giant role in there. You just look at all these companies and you think, well, it's still happening, right? This is not 20 or 30 years old scams. This comes every few years. And so when you look at a report like this, personally, I read the whole thing, but some of the really big claims are, the fact that they pushed a truck down the hill, pretending that it's running, right? And yesterday, the Financial Times published an article, and you have Mark Russell, who's the CEO of the company. Trevor Milton is the chairman. But basically, Mark claims that this was a prototype, right? And when the journalist says, yeah, but was it working? He doesn't want to comment on that. And that just tells you enough, right? Then you have the claim that Trevor's younger brother, Travis Milton, is the guy that's in charge of the revolutionary technology around hydrogen, right? Nikola claims that they are 81% cheaper than everybody else producing hydrogen, that they own wells. And you have a guy that basically before Nikola was living in Hawaii, paving driveways as a contractor, and that's documented in the report. Or the fact that effectively Mark Russell, again the CEO in that same FT article, basically says that they are an integrator of technologies from supply chain. They basically pick and choose different pieces from the supply chain and put them together. So what is really Nikola at this point, right? Is this just a marketing company that's using other people's technology while claiming that they have revolutionized the battery cells, the fuel cells, that they own wells, that they produce their own hydrogen at $3 per kilogram, where this is just way too cheap compared to what the industry really is. So look, I think the real claim here is, again, who do you believe and what do you do with your investment, right? So far, what we have seen Trevor do is come out and threaten to sue. He's done the same thing with Bloomberg journalists that wrote an article a few months ago, again, saying that they overhyped the truck that was coming out. You have claims of new technology, but then there's a deal with GM where basically Nikola would be using their technology, and GM isn't, as far ahead as Tesla is. And so again, the question is, what do you do with your investment? I think for the hardcore believers in Nikola, when they say, well, I'm holding this for the long run, well, if this is truly a fraud, there's not going to be much to hold. And so my advice to anybody that's investing in Nikola is to say, listen, you really don't know where the truth lies at this point. And you need to have a certain level in mind where you're going to exit this company, this investment. If it's, it lost 15% 3 days in a row, right? We gave up all the gains and some. We're trading at 31 to 32. That's where we closed on Friday. And so is it 28, 25, or 20? Are you going to let that company go and trade at 5? My point is, if you exit here and today, you will have plenty of room to come back in and invest in Nikola. Think back to Tesla, right? Tesla spent years trading somewhere between 200 and 300 on the pre-split pricing, right? It was trading at 350, back to 260, back to 230. It was spending a lot of time there as Elon Musk was developing the technology and the cars. And again, look, this is a strategy that many entrepreneurs used, right? They kind of overhype the achievements, the technology, where they're heading, and eventually they get the funding, they have money to invest, and they catch up. So is there a chance that Nikola has, found a better way to do things, and now that they have the funds for it, and they will be able to literally pay their way into the technology and into the investments? Is that possible? Yeah, I guess it is possible. But again, think back a few months ago, back in April, when the coronavirus hit. There's a video on the CNBC channel. You have Trevor Milton with CNBC being interviewed about why he took $4 million in the PPP loans, when this is a company that was valued in the middle of the IPO. And why they needed this money, right? And you have Trevor Milton basically sitting there and saying, we're a tiny company, we're a small company of 350 people. So when you have something like this a few months before allegations of fraud, and in the meantime, a company with 350 people merged with this SPAC in a reverse merger, went public, became valuable as high as $25 or $30 billion. Now it's at $14 billion. And they have no product to sell. They're actually not making anything. They're just trying to integrate different technology from different providers on the market. I think you really have to ask yourself these questions, right? So look, I posted a video at the very beginning of this channel about the 5 basic rules of the road when it comes to trading, and managing your stops, managing your exits is one of the basic tenets of successful trading. If your strategy is I'm in it for the long haul, for 5-10 years, I don't care, I believe in Nikola, good luck, but I truly believe that you should have a stop loss somewhere in mind where you exit the investment with the intent to get back in if all of these reports are proven wrong. Anyhow, that's a quick update on the market. Again, a week dominated really by the EV stories and Peloton. I was really busy trading in and out. But I wish everybody that's invested in Nikola good luck. I think this is going to be an exciting saga to follow. And thanks for listening. I'll see you in a few days.